Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. Now we saw in the previous class, we saw the poetry, a thing of beauty. We just saw how the poet describes beautiful things and how this beautiful things brings joy for us, brings happiness in us. Any poetry, a poet makes it more beautiful through the poetic device. So in this class, let us see the poetic devices used by the poet here. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us. A bower quiet for us. A calm and peaceful place. It is a metaphor used in this particular poetry. Sleep full of sweet dreams. You know pretty well, always alliteration is two words starting with either with the same sound or with the same letter. So you have an alliteration also. And we have to see the rhyme scheme which is used in the poetry. Here in this particular poetry, the rhyme scheme goes as AA, BB, CC, DD as such, because every two couples has got a rhyming word at the end. For example, forever, never, keep, sleep. Breathing, it will continue in the next line, breathing. Okay, in this way the poet uses the rhyme scheme, which you can call it as AA, BB, C, and breathing will follow in the next line. I told you about breathing and reading. So, you have reading here. So, it is CC. Next, you can see earth and dearth, days and ways. In this way, every two lines consecutively, it is rhyming together. Let us see the other poetic device used here. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to earth, spite of despondence of the human dearth, of noble natures of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. Here in this particular thing, we have personification, inhuman death. Human quality, personification, when any human nature is added up, you call it as personification. Inhuman death, inhuman, the qualities of the human being, that which is acted upon nature over here. If we are the nature which is this inhuman quality, inhuman is the one who doesn't consider, selfish, I told you already. So, when the human quality is added up over here, you call it as personification. Next, we have imagery. Wreathing a flowery band. I told you what is a wreath. Now, the moment you talk about wreathing a flowery band, a wreath full of flowers, you are able to imagine it. So, it becomes an imagery for you. Next, you have a metaphor. Wreathing a flowery band as well as unhealthy and over darkened ways. Both are metaphors. Wreathing a flowery band, a pleasant bond that we are going to build up with nature. And when it comes to unhealthy over darkened ways, evils and trials and tribulations of life, which makes us sad, but this nature once again brings happiness. The moment we start observing nature, it brings happiness. Other figure of speech which we have here is archaism. Archaism is a word which is no longer in use. That is archaism. Actually, it is no longer in use. Morrow is an archaism. We just say tomorrow only. We don't say morrow. But here this morrow is an archaism because as it is no longer in usage. Then you have transferred epithet. A modifier qualifies a noun other than a person or a thing. It is actually describing. It is a transferred epithet is also seen here. Made for our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. From a dark spirit such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. Simple sheep, sprouting a shady boon, some shape, you can see that all these are alliteration. Then you have imagery also here. Shady boon is an imagery. You can imagine anything that you can imagine, visualize, it becomes an imagery. Then you have metaphor, moves away the pall, is a metaphor over here. Then you have symbol as well. Simple sheep refers to mankind. Christ is the shepherd who leads the humans out of the dark world of temptations. So, this symbol is used here for simple sheep. So, this becomes a symbol. Apart from that, we have personification, shape of beauty over here. It is personification. Beauty is personified here. With the green world they live and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Gains the hot season, the mid-forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. We have a new figure of speech, metonymy, over here. What is a metonymy? The substitution of the name of an attribute or adjunct for that of the thing meant. A substitute word which is used is called as metonymy. In a simple way you can understand. Green world, the poet has used the word green world here for the earth. So, it becomes a metonymy. Likewise, hot season is used here instead of summer. Okay. Cold season you can use for winter. So, in this way, hot season the poet has used here for summer. So, it becomes a metonymy. And we have imagery also. Clear rills. The moment you say clear rills, rills I already told, small stream. The moment we talk about clear rills, you can think about the small stream of water flowing through a passage, a place, and it is so clear that you can see even the pebbles and the bottom of the water clearly. So, you can imagine this. So, it becomes imagery. Apart from that, grandeur of the domes, this is also an imagery. Grandeur, something so lovely, something so high. Okay. So, you can imagine that. So, it becomes an imagery. Next we have here, we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heaven's brink. The poet exaggerates certain things, and when you exaggerate and write, you call it as hyperbole. You have hyperbole here. It is nothing but an exaggerated view. You call it as hyperbole. Here, endless fountain. So, the fountain, poet could have just told a fountain of water or something. He says endless fountain. He doesn't stop with that also. Pouring of immortal drink, pouring onto us from the heaven's brink. From the heaven, this endless fountain is pouring for the human nature, for the humanity. And it is nothing but the bountiness of nature which is poured, showered on human beings to give peace and happiness in their minds, to cover the entire area around them with beauty. So, endless fountain, it becomes a hyperbole. Then you have imagery as well. When we say endless fountain, you can imagine a fountain of water flowing down. Okay? Anything that you visualize, as I said earlier, it becomes imagery. So, you have here endless fountain, it is also an imagery, and as well as endless fountain of immortal drink, as well as heaven's brink, the mighty dead. Heaven's brink, brink is nothing but the tip. So, anything that you say brink of the table, or anything you just say the brink of a cliff, brink of a mountain, a huge rock, all those things you can imagine. So, heaven's brink as well as the mighty dead. You can, how a mighty, a big person, a person with so much of valor and bravery dies. So, even that you can imagine. So, such things which you can imagine and which comes over here in this particular poetry, you call it as imagery. Now, children, all these figure of speech adds beauty to the poetry. So, enjoy reading this poetry again and again. For example, works of Keats, Shelley, Wordsworth, Byron, all these things, once you start reading, you can never stop it. You will get a feel that you need to read it again and again, because their verses very purely describes nature, and you will start developing a bond towards nature. Get up early in the morning, observe what is there around you. Now you don't have the hustle and bustle of the city. You will not hear the train sound, or you will not hear the bus sound, but you can hear a koel singing somewhere. That brings a soothing effect to your heart, hearing the koel sing. You can see the chirping of birds, listen to that the song of the birds. You can see the humming bees, all these things. Now nature has given you a chance. COVID-19 has given you a chance to observe nature and enjoy the beauty of nature, which will take you to tranquility, which will bring you lot of happiness. Thank you.